You just need to approve the minutes, you said?
Yeah, so when you're ready, you can just say next item, 1C, approval of minutes for,
Okay. Next item down, we're going to have 1C, approval of minutes. So guys, I've never done this part of this, so I'm sorry. I guess it's that, do we need a time on it too?
no, you don't need to state the time, but it does require a motion, so.
All right, I motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
I second it.
Awesome.
Give me one
Okay.
sec while I'm adding those in here. You should have that voting show up on your screen. Perfect. And go to the next item.
Okay, we have item 1D, approval of minutes from April 27th.
All right, I motion to approve those minutes also.
And I second it.
We're doing good.
Yeah?
I read them.
Okay, we have 2A, discussion of action regarding the Yard of the Month nominations for the month of May 2026. There's 2 nominations received for the month of May. Judging criteria is consistent maintenance, landscaping design, use of seasonal plants, overall impression. Only 2 can be selected.
Yeah, so it's up to 2 each month. You guys do not have to award both yards if you only want to go for one of the options that we received for the month. First yard, only 1 picture was submitted. We did reach out to the applicant to see if we could get any others, but this was the only picture attached to their nomination,
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it.
located on.
I mean, it's got that,
One.
it's got seasonal plants.
Seasonal plants, there's a little bird there, there's many birds, they took a lot of time. And then, of course, you always have the opposite of someone who's just extremely manicured and likes geometric shapes of squares. So, I think they're both pretty good, and we can choose 2, so why not choose both?
You can choose up to 2 per month. That's what
Okay.
we have budgeted for in terms
Okay.
of awards, but you guys do not have to. It's just an option for the
I
board.
like the second one because I nominated it.
It is nice.
So this is yard 2 located in quadrant 2.
Yeah.
We did have a couple more pictures submitted from different angles and also from a night view for the
Is
yard.
this your house?
No, it's my neighbor's house. He was out there working on it all week, so
Yeah.
And just for the record, within current guidelines, board members are allowed to submit nominations.
Understood. I mean, I'm okay with just doing 1, but I do like both of them. I think they're both very nice. They're just on the different sides of the yard maintenance spectrum.
well, if we can do 2, I say do them both, but
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm partial to people who put in seasonal color and put plants in and stuff like that, so.
he does have little plants in the pot.
Little
There it is.
plants.
I think the plants are really cute. I wonder what the inside
But I
is.
don't think the other, I don't think the next one has,
There's a couple little colors in there. There's like 2. more than that.
the 3 doesn't, isn't,
So it would be 2 nominations only for the month of May.
Yeah.
Yes. The other 2 are for month of June. We'll discuss those on the next item.
I like both houses, so I'd say give them both the award, but that's just my vote.
I agree.
If we can do 2 and we only got 2 submissions,
but we don't, we have 4.
no, that's for June. This is
Oh.
May.
I missed that completely. So go for it.
Yeah, let's do it. 2.
If they took the time and they're the only
Both.
ones, go for
Yeah, I
it.
think they both look nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful.
Full send, both of them,
Looks really nice
nominated.
tonight, that's why I took the night
and
pictures
when.
too.
I passed it, it is pretty to
Yeah.
drive by. But, so where are we at? So my hearing is still bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. So Brian already clarified, there's only 2 for the month of May, and then we'll have 2 for the month of June since last meeting got postponed. That's why we're reviewing them all today.
Right,
You can select up to 2 winners. You don't have to if there's only one that convinces you to give awards to. And just for clarification, the winners for last month were posted on our social media alongside the flyer for the program to just kind of incentivize people to participate.
I agree with that.
So again, we're just for sure making attempts to try to get a little bit more engagement. Some months are just more popular than others too.
Yeah, absolutely. I say
So
both.
do we have to nominate them or just,
You would still have to make a motion. So at this point, the question is whether or not you want to award both yards submitted.
Yes.
And if you only want to have one awarded, then you'll just need to say if it's yard 1 or 2 for the month of May.
I make a nomination to award both yards for the month of May.
I second it, and third.
you can second it.
Yeah, I say.
She's seconding it. I vote yay. I
How's
agree
all?
with the idea of having it visible, so that if you have 2 winners, you have signs.
Yeah, and they might not even expect it, and $50, you know, that's $50. That's a new plant or two.
Mm-hmm.
Should have voting show up on your screen for you guys to cast your vote.
Yep.
Then Pamela, let me know if you see it on your
I
screen.
don't have, my name isn't up there? So if you look up there, my name isn't up there?
No, I have your name here. On your screen, you should have a voting option to be able to click.
Oh, there it
Yeah,
is, sorry.
It was stuck on the other screen.
Yeah, all right.
Okay,
Perfect. And you're ready, you can take us over to the next item.
all right, so we're gonna be on 2B, is that right? Yeah. Yes, okay, 2B, discussion and action regarding the Yard of the Month nominations for the month of June 2026. There was 2 as well for that were received. Of course, the criteria, again, will be consistent maintenance, landscaping, use of seasonal plants, overall impression, and we also can select 2 from this as well. So, June.
I'll go ahead and show you guys the first one on quadrant 3.
I think
This
both.
was the picture submitted for that nomination. The next one, quadrant 1. Let me know if you want me to zoom in. I can exit out and do so, but it will also be on your packet.
I think it makes sense to do both again.
Absolutely. They both, again, are on, like, one is less colorful, but it's still really nice, and the other one's more colorful, but still really well maintained,
Yeah,
so.
one's very tidy, one is,
We always get 2 of those, right? We get one very tiny and one very colorful. Make a motion to, I guess, nominate both.
A second. I just think it encourages more people to participate too.
Yeah.
yeah. And they did do a good one.
Mhm.
All right, so where
They
is
both
mine?
look good.
Okay. Okay, we have 2C Board Projects Workshop.
Yes, so as you guys know, the board has discussed several different projects past few months for possible initiatives to focus on for the next fiscal year, plural fiscal years. Given that there has been so many ideas discussed and the fact that the quotes that we've obtained in relation to the anticipated revenues wouldn't make it feasible for us to do all at once. I am requesting guidance from the board in terms of prioritizing which project you would like for resources and staff's time to be focused on for the next fiscal year or fiscal years, depending again on which one that is. So I'll just kind of give you an overview of the main ones. Again, these are in addition to the regular year-to-year programs and initiatives that the board already has, like the Yard of the Month or Holiday Decor. The first one was Bailey Boswell Overpass Mural. Last meeting was rescheduled due to failure of quorum, but we wanted to provide an update in regards to City Council's feedback after this project proposal was presented on May 19th. Again, for a recap, that initial presentation to City Council was to first assess their interest or support on the project before the board continued with, requiring more information, asking for more information from artists, investing more time, or even discussing allocating funds. We wanted to first see if they would be supportive of that. Given the financial impact that this project would have, we for sure need to have City Council on the same page because they would need to allocate or approve the allocation of those funds. So let me go ahead and pull up my presentation really quick. Is that my mic or someone else's mic? Just really quick review. I know that we had explored both options of maybe just doing 1 to 2 pillars that were closest to Saginaw Boulevard, or maybe doing all 9 throughout a facing approach. When discussing this project with City Council, we explained that, again, the board's intention with focusing on the overpass was its location on the northern frontier of the city that would serve as a perfect opportunity for branding and visibility of a mural project. And they were leaning towards our recommendation of having the theme focus on native North Texas flowers. So that was for sure their preferred theme for potential focuses on the design of that mural. Cost ranges that we provided to City Council during that presentation were based upon the quotes that we received from 9 artists as discussed previously. I just want you to note too that the costs were taken into account the painting of all 9 all 9 pillars all at once, full coverage. But of course, given the wide range of cost options and in ways in which we can approach this project, it would really depend as to how we decide to determine the scope of work for the mural moving forward. So just to give you, again, a refresher on what those lower cost range examples would be, because I know we just kind of discussed generally their quotes and what our ideas were. If we were to do something on the lower cost range, you're looking at shapes that are more bold, simplistic, meant to be representative of the images that you want to convey, not too hyper-realistic. Alternatively, you could also do a balance between realism and graphic design with just partial coverage of pillars. So these are just some examples of what a lower range could look like. And then higher cost range examples that were also shown to City Council are these more hyper-realistic images that are intended to look like pictures and have both colors in the background or full coverage of the pillars in most cases. In some other instances, it could mean not having a full coverage background, maybe just partial background with super realistic pictures of the subject that we want in there, so that they look like they're popping out of the pillar. Or having something like this, where the flower might not look like a picture, but it's still pretty realistic, and there's full coverage on the background. So after presenting these options to City Council as well, their project direction, feedback from what they would be supportive of or would like to see is for sure leaning more towards something that is realistic in terms of representation. They weren't really in favor of going for something like super simplistic in terms of graphics like this first example here. But given the cost ranges in the available funds that we have in our unallocated funds, their advice was for sure to approach this through a phasing out alternative, as we had discussed previously, with potentially the first two murals at Saginaw Boulevard being the main focus, full coverage, and then exploring either a branching out where the coverage decreases and it all connects into one design, or if we opt for a full coverage and all 9 pillars, just phase it out throughout the next couple of years. But again, just want to give you generally what City Council's feedback was. I know this is generally an item to discuss all of our projects where we want to focus on, so we will discuss this again as we brainstorm what our next steps are in terms of finalizing a RFP or request for proposals. Again, given the cost range that we're looking at, we're definitely gonna need to go through that process, and it would also perhaps open doors for more artists to submit quotes and give us a different alternative to what we've received so far. So potential next steps, if you guys want to prioritize this project over all of the other options, would be to finalize our scope of work. What do we want to see in the mural? Do we want full coverage, hyper-realism all throughout the 9 pillars? If so, we need to update our cost request or quote request so that we can ask artists to give us an accurate reflection of what it could look like if we phased out the project for the next 2 to 3 years so that we can afford to pay it in phases. Unless you guys want to do something where the 2 pillars closest to the Saginaw Boulevard are full coverage and maybe the design branches out. Again, there's all sorts of possibilities. So that would be our next step, finalizing that scope of work, taking City Council's feedback into consideration. Then we would move on to, after finalizing what our design and theme is, also doing some community or getting some community intake through our social media. This is a tentative thing where we could do it after receiving proposals from artists when we already have renderings, or if we do it before too, to just kind of see as a preventative measure where most of the community would be, or where their feedback would be in terms of a project of this size. Then once we finalize that and have community feedback, we would move forward with drafting an RFP and getting formal requests for proposals before we can even do a quote approval and present it to City Council for their final approval as well. So given the scope of work of this project, we're looking at a long haul in terms of having this resolved. And if we wanted to prioritize this, it would be something we'll need to focus on and reserve funds for the next couple of fiscal years. It is always good budget practice to keep a good amount of our unallocated funds just available for safety measures. We receive our money from voluntary donations that people make on their water bill. So those can always fluctuate, and it's not always super easy, or like it's not always guaranteed that we'll receive a certain amount. So hence, I just wanted to give you that context. But that is the update on the overpass mural. The next one we had discussed that staff had proposed, again, when we were originally discussing what our next public art project would be, was the Willow Creek Park mural at the Switchyard restroom building that's like north of the Switchyard. You know that our initial intention for that project was to have an Instagram-worthy spot for people that visit farmers market, the Train and Grain Festival, and all sorts of community events, to have that spot to take pictures at and just kind of help reinforce the theme that Willow Creek Park has going on so far of trains. The 3 quotes that we've received from artists are just general estimates, again, because we need to obtain something more final once the board decides what direction to move forward to. Those ranges are approximately from $8,550 to $10,000, depending on how detailed you want to be. And it also just heavily depending on the artist. Their costs vary depending on all sorts of components that they take into account. But if this was a project that you guys wanted to prioritize, we do have the money within our operating budget. But again, it's one of those things where if the overpass mural holds priority over everything else, it might be wise to put a hold on that project. Or if we move forward with this project, that would mean potentially extending the time that it would take for the overpass mural to be completed. The next one was the Knowles Drive banner program. This board used to have a banner installation program. Again, last year when we were looking at revamping the designs and increasing the locations in which we had those poles displayed, we were informed by Encore that unfortunately all poles with double fixtures were not permitted locations for installation. There was a few months of just back and forth with management and upper management from that agency to see if there was alternatives. And unfortunately, that is not the case, but Knowles is a road that was identified as a possible solution because of the new poles that were installed. They are all single fixture light poles, so that is an area where the board could focus their banner decor initiatives for city branding. Last time that we met, I presented the summaries for all of the quotes that we received, and the board decided unanimously to table and hold that decision because of the upcoming workshop that they were going to have with the Recreation and Parks Advisory Board pertaining to the purchase of holiday displays. So just wanted to give you a refresher on that project in terms of another initiative that the board was considering. Available funding, as a reminder, per the last report I've received from our finance director, the total of unallocated funds is currently $139,463. This is not reflecting the upcoming expenses of the holiday displays. On May 4th, again, the board approved a collaborative purchase of holiday displays with the Parks and Recreations Advisory Board. So a total of $24,356 with 25 cents is already compromised to that project. So again, our recommendation as staff is for the board to discuss the information provided pertaining these projects and provide me with direction as to which initiative or initiatives you would like to see be prioritized for the current and upcoming fiscal years. Given that we generate our revenue through those voluntary donations, and those can vary significantly year to year, we are looking at a limited amount of available funds to realistically do all of these at the same time within a short period or time span. So I'm open to any questions. Let you guys kind of discuss, brainstorm, see where your mind's at.
So are you saying that the council thinks that starting with 2 to 4 pillars would be like a good place to start?
Yeah, well, their recommendation is phasing out the project for sure.
Yeah.
One of the biggest questions that came up from one of our councilmen was funding, because the cost ranges that we received, if we go for the artist that charges the most, after reviewing their quotes more thoroughly and options, we're looking at something that we just cannot afford all at once.
Right.
So aside from council's recommendation, just generally from our available funds, it's something that the board would need to do. So taking that into account, their feedback was to maybe focus first on the ones closest to the road or the biggest ones and then phase it out accordingly.
So then
Once we finalize the scope of work.
so part of the discussion is prioritizing all of these other little projects and maybe putting money into the murals. We're not doing them, like the bathroom. Is that part of what we're trying to?
Right, so part of the discussion and the feedback that I need from you guys is to, at this point, look at the information provided, the funds that we have available as a board, and choose which project you want to focus on for the next fiscal or fiscal years, depending on if we go for something big, or if you guys don't want to do the overpass mural and wanted to do maybe just banners and the mural at the restroom and then leave funds for smaller projects instead of doing a big one, that would be something that you guys would be discussing and providing guidance on.
I think we would need to get quotes on just the two big pillars by the road, and then the rest would have to be done in stages, because obviously that's a significant amount of money to do that whole overpass at one time. So
But I would put those murals as the priority over these other projects.
Yeah, I think those should be a priority, but I agree with the city council that it's not feasible to do them all at the same
Right.
time.
Yeah, if we were to put these lined up, you know, I think this one, the larger project is obviously more important. I think the banners thing might be, you know, it's gonna be something that is gonna come up as a reoccurring issue with like little things. I think that might be an outdated, you know, like thing we're looking at here. Maybe we can scoot by that and just, you know, it's kind of nice, but like this, I feel like this would at least, no one's gonna stop and take a picture of a cool banner that's on the side of the road, but they will stop and say, oh my gosh, look at this bridge, it's amazing, wonderful, amazing. But I think like in the line of priorities, I would go big project of the overpass. The second one, of course, being at the switch yard at the other side of the restroom area, and then the third might be the banners. And I think the banners might be the scrubbed a little bit, you know. It has like a good potential there for maybe something long-term, but essentially I keep seeing the cost go up, and then of course the longevity in them, I don't believe is there. But a mural, I mean, people got upset about the whales, you know, in Dallas. I think people could, you know, really like a giant mural on such a oddly placed bridge, you know.
Right, and I'd rather put money into a more expensive picture than the more realistic one.
Yeah.
So if we had to balance it out, I'd like the more realistic pictures.
Yeah, I'd like to look at a nice photo versus some metal brackets.
Yeah, so, you know,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of, the bridge, and then the switchyard park, and then the banners
Yeah.
would be the least,
The
of the
least
three,
use.
that would be the
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
contender
Yeah.
of the three.
I keep thinking the banners have run their course.
Yeah, the banners, I think maybe it's time to go, although we have spent a lot of time on them, and that's, you know,
And we do currently have banners just
Yeah.
being stored at our Public Works facility.
yeah, I just think that unfortunately,
And part of it is, for me at least, when I drive down that road nowadays, it's the way they've landscaped it with the trees, it's really beautiful. It doesn't, I feel like it just doesn't need banners.
yeah,
And,
There's been a lot done to the park, and, you know, this is something that everyone driving through the city is gonna see, because that's
yeah.
Saginaw, Maine. Everyone's gonna see that bridge and the new mural.
Everyone's got to pass by that
Yeah.
Walmart. They go to Chick-fil-A too much, you know,
Yeah.
they're gonna see it.
it's a great place. It's just,
It's a good opportunity to take that space and turn it into something worth looking at, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with prioritizing that.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fantastic option. Although the other ones are feasible right now, this is an investment.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just gonna be pretty.
Yeah, that's what we want.
I mean, if you talk about pretty, it's really gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, and I do think that city council is right. Like, we don't need super hyper realistic, but those last photos where it kind of gives us the breakdown of like nice colored background with semi-realistic would be awesome to look at. And I'm sure in the long run, doing touch-ups and things like that would make it a lot easier that way as well.
And the last couple meetings ago, you brought in those beautiful ones with the wildflowers, and they were gorgeous. you
Yeah.
know. So, anyway, I guess I would want the priority to be the 2 to 4
Agreed.
original posts, and then spread the work out over
Over
a
different
time.
fiscal years.
Couples physical years at least.
Absolutely, agreed.
I'm sorry, can you go ahead and repeat that, Pamela?
I said I guess I would prioritize doing 2 to 4 of the posts, and then spreading it out over several years.
Okay, gotcha.
But just, whatever the board and the council think is good, just try to start with even 2 of them.
Yeah. And again, just to clarify, like, finalizing a scope of work for a mural of that size, we won't be doing that today, 'cause I do need to for sure
Right, but,
bring you more information. We need to have more time to
Yes.
discuss this. This is just more so to decide,
yes.
what do we want to, what do you guys want to do as a board?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if that is for sure, focus all funding and time and effort into a mural,
Yes.
that project, then that's something that you guys.
That's exactly.
Just let me know.
Yeah.
That
I
way
agree. That's
I
what we
agree.
should do, yeah. Yay. Motion to do
And
whatever we just
I think it would
said.
be interesting that if the council is going to start talking about this mural, that we be informed so we could go.
So the next time that we'll be approaching council is once we actually have a more final scope of work. Because I'm not sure if you recall, on the last time that we discussed this item, it was requested that we first do a presentation with city council and just kind of obtain their general feedback to see if they would have been supportive of this project, so
Right.
that we don't continue to spend time and waste artists' time in answering our questions and sending price ranges if we're not really sure we're going to do it. But again, our next step will be to finalize scope of work. And those public hearing notices are posted, so next time they're approached, you'll for sure be able to attend. If you guys want to lead that presentation, that's also
Oh, no, I was just,
an option as well, just FYI.
no, I was just going to come and sit in.
Yes, ma'am. So this is not something you have to take action on, 'cause it's not an action item, you don't have to make a motion, but just for my notes, it sounds like the general consensus is put a pause on the banner installation program and the smaller mural at Willow Creek Park and just focus on getting the other project started and scope of work finalized.
Agreed.
Yes,
Agreed.
Okay,
yes.
Yep.
all right. Well, thank you guys for your guidance. Is there any other questions you might have for me?
No, I think that's good.
Okay.
I'm much more into putting money to an artist doing this, and so, fantastic. Of course. Okay. Moving to 2D now, is that correct?
Yes.
2D, discussion and action regarding the 2026 through 2027 donation fund budget. Okay.
So, now looking into we're currently in our budget season for the city. As a refresher for our new members, the role for the board is to make a recommendation to city council in terms of budget allocations for the beautification fund. But the final allocation decision would be made by city council, taking into consideration your recommendation, of course. Staff, before I get started, just really quick, our budget is broken down into 3 main categories. The first one being supplies, and those are the funds that we use to pay for the awards for the Yard of the Month contest, signs for Adopt a Spot program adoptees, and other miscellaneous program supplies. Contract services, that is where we pay the holiday displays for yearly installations, and then the mowing services for Blue Mound Road and Saginaw Boulevard. And lastly is the capital outlay and special request fund. There we have funding for the year-to-year smaller projects for murals, as well as $5,000 allocated for tree planting. Parks and Recreation Advisory Board provides the other $5,000. This is just an initiative to assist with the planting of trees throughout our parks. In discussing the budget recommendation for this year, there are 2 recommendations that I wanted to make. Option 1, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up those budget options for you guys as reference. They're also included on your packet, would be to allocate within our supplies section of our budget, have a line item for just Yard of the Month contest. Out of our monthly programs, this is the one that, because of the awards, definitely has the more recurring expenses. The $1,400 was recommended based upon the estimate of the gift cards, signs, and certificates of recognition to be awarded. As a refresher, a few months ago, last year, I believe, the board approved to allocate $60 per gift card that is awarded a month. So that is a compilation, or it was the $1,400 were consider upon adding the entirety of the program. We get started around April, and then we end on November and December having a combined kind of contest situation where 4 yards are awarded. The 1,600 will be left for other miscellaneous programs and supplies like Adopt a Spot and anything else that might come up for the board. For contract services, this is where the other recommendation is, proposal for this budget. That would be to increase the money allocated for holiday decoration this year. Last year, the board had originally allocated a certain amount, and after receiving multiple quotes, the lowest one received was still just a little bit over the amount allocated. So just as a preventative measure, there's always about 3 to 4% of cost increases for all services that we account for. So this will just be to keep us safe within that estimation. The next one is the mowing of Blue Mount and Saginaw Boulevard. The estimated monthly charges for those are $3,200. Mowing normally starts on March and ends in October. But again, the mowing schedule varies at all times. This year, we started a little later because the new contractor bid hadn't been awarded, and there was just a couple of changes there. And the $3,200 are not always spent. It really depends on rain patterns and how fast grass grows. But to be safe, we want to, again, make sure that we allocate sufficient so that we don't go over budget. Taking into consideration that we want to account for $104,000 total in our budget, the art and public spaces was increased to $27,000 to be added onto the contract services and distributed amongst supplies. But again, for projects like the mural overpass, those regardless are going to have to be paid for by the unallocated funds not included within our regular operation budget. So that's option 1. Option 2 of the possible alternatives that the board could look at when discussing finalizing the recommendation is one that had included banner maintenance, which I included as preventively in case for our last item you guys decided to focus on banners. So just FYI, I wanted to show you this, what that would have looked like. Having taken into consideration what your feedback was on our last item, this is a proposal from staff. So I'm open to any questions.
I have no questions. I feel like you explained that very well.
Option 1, looks like.
Yeah, option 1, let's scrub the.
Again,
Yeah.
added prior to the discussion that was
Yeah,
had
that's okay.
just now.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys do not have any questions or want to discuss this farther with you, let me know. And this is an action item, so a motion would have to be taken to make a formal approval to recommend this proposal to City Council.
I make a motion for option 1 for
Yes.
budget.
I second it. That was pretty cool that we canned the banners before we got to the
Yeah.
budget.
Look at that.
Is there a voting thing? Yay.
This item, 2E, we'll just go ahead and bypass. Again, it was added as preparation backup in case a discussion went differently.
That's okay.
For that work.
We
Yeah,
get
that's
it.
way too much money for some banners and stuff.
Yeah. For some banners.
Yeah, no.
We can do better than
Yeah.
banners.
So, can take us over to the next item.
4A is the expenditure fund report. Let's see.
Just really quickly in your packet, I included the total of donations received for the month of April and May. The expenditures that we paid for this past month was the traffic control box wrapping for the new one added at Knowles and Longhorn. That was $750. the adopt a spot sign for a new adoptee. This last cycle of mowing for the right-of-way at Saginaw Boulevard was $1,040. And then, if you recall, we, for a few months, first part of this year, we're overseeing the Kiwanis Memorial Park program for the bricks that was sent back or transitioned back to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. We spent $480, but again, each one of those bricks were charged $25, and those charges were added back to our donation fund. So, and money in, money out, and we did have a $5 additional revenue, if you want to call it that, for all of those bricks, accounting for staff's time to process and the installation of the bricks themselves. I also included a budget summary of what we've spent so far this year. So far, with all of these expenses, not the most recent one for the mowing cycle reflected, we are looking at a total of $50,512 with 84 cents that have been spent from this year's budget. So I'm open to any questions.
Seems like we're doing good.
Yeah.
No questions, I don't think?
No questions.
Okay. Well, and you're ready, we can go ahead to the next item.
Okay. Next item, future agenda items 4B.
And if there's nothing that you guys want to have right now from the top of your head added onto our next agenda, we can always just go for meeting adjournment.
Anyone?
I don't have anything.
Have we solutionized the mowing and the other issues at your public library?
Oh, I gave up on all that. I'm doing my own weeding, and someday the town will catch up.
Okay, then I think after that, nothing else on our side. We can
I
adjourn.
don't have anything.
So for the wrapping of the pillars, are you now tasked with going out and doing a next step that will come, like, are you setting up for, I don't know what the next steps are, I guess is really what I'm asking.
Yeah, so the next step would be for the board to finalize that scope of work that you guys want to see in terms of what design, full coverage on all of them, hyper-realistic or not, so that I can finalize our quote requests.
Okay, so you're
Just-
gonna go to the council, right?
I'll come back to you again
Yeah.
with more detailed information for the quotes that we've received, examples for you guys to discuss, finalize the scope of work. Again, the other tentative step would be community intake, so that would be discussed on our next meeting as well. If you guys wanted to have any social media posts
Okay.
added for just surveying people's opinions on a project like that.
So that'll be on the agenda.
Yes, measurements have already been obtained for the pillars. All four artists were already provided, all four artists that we've received costs from, right, at this time, were already provided a tour from myself and public works staff members that were able to take us to the overpass for them to assess the situation. So that has been just kind of background on my end, steps that have been taken so far so that they can give us honest price ranges for a project like this. But I'll come to our next meeting with more information for you guys to discuss further.
And the electrical box wrapping, are we considering any more of those? Because I know the one near the Highland, I think it's Highland Elementary School, they have a nice box that could use a wrap.
So I think this would have been something good to discuss during the workshop, but
So I'm having a hard time hearing.
as you saw on our last expense, those are $750. Of course, if you do something where multiple traffic control boxes are wrapped at one time, we can definitely have a discounted cost like we've done in the past. Last time that we did a massive order was in 2019, but that would come from the public art project fund, and it would take away from what can be used for the mural overpass.
Oh, because we just did one, I thought it was only $750.
Yeah, so it really depends as to if
Okay.
that's something that the board
I
wants to
mean,
prioritize.
the priority still is the pillars, so,
Okay.
for me,
Yeah.
I
This is
agree.
something that you,
Pillars. All right.
pillars, we're into pillars.
Is this something that you want a future item on? Just so that I'm clear.
No, I just wondered if there were planning on that, you know, because that other one got done so quickly. I mean,
Yeah,
came
it would
up
be
at a
it would be
meeting.
the board's call if you guys want to use the funds in
Oh,
our
okay, so
operating budget.
the impetus for that came from somewhere else.
What was that?
The impetus for bringing it up came from somewhere else. The last wrapping of the box.
If you're asking if it was approved by another, like, board or commission?
I'm sorry, I'm really having a hard time.
No, you're good. Just to clarify too, it was, I believe, the month of March.
Yeah.
You guys reviewed those quotes and picture options
Yes.
and unanimously approved
And
to
it was
purchase.
done within a month. And it looked really nice.
Yeah, it's been a minute, so.
So
So just to
I just
clarify, no
wondered if
future
any-
item on it, or yes?
I would just wondered if any more of that was coming on the agenda anymore.
Not on my end, given that I know that the overpass mural is a priority right now, but
Got it,
if you guys want to
okay.
do a sum here and there, I can definitely look into getting us.
Oh, it's just by the elementary school, it'd be nice.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, feel free to email me too, if you want to like send me a picture of the one that you mean, and we can have this item added for a future meeting.
Just a thought.
I like schools to be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
Well, any other questions?
Nope.
We are ready for a motion to adjourn.
Did you have the audience want to talk, or? Oh, okay. All right, I make a motion. Just listening? Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to talk. All right, I make a motion to adjourn then.
I second it.
Okay.
You can see we have a lot of power.
We won't have voting showing on your screen, so
Okay.
I take that as a unanimous yes from everyone.
Yes.
Thank you guys for your patience.
Thanks. Thank
Thank
you guys
you.
for
See you
waiting on
next
me.
time.
Oh, no problem.